General Hospital spoilers reveal that the quest to uncover Joe's true identity through DNA testing is evolving into a fierce storm, drawing in not only those directly involved like Dante Falconeri and Brooke Lynn Quartermaine, but shaking the emotional foundation of all of Port Charles. What was once just a vague intuition within Lulu Spencer has now become an unstoppable chain of events, with each step pushing everyone closer to a truth capable of immense destruction. The DNA results are not merely biological evidence, they are a key unlocking a long-buried past, a web of lies silently spun over more than 2 decades. And now, the journey to find the truth is forcing a major reckoning, one that will reshape the perceptions and fates of all involved. The possibility that Gio is the long-lost child of Dante and Brooke Lynn is not just a personal revelation, it's a crack threatening to shatter the entire foundation of trust in current relationships. For Brooke Lynn, that truth means the past she tried so hard to bury, the child she secretly gave up as a teenager, is being unearthed. For Dante, it's more than a shock, it's the unwelcome intrusion of a chapter of life he never knew he missed, fatherhood, missed birthdays, and moments of love that can never be reclaimed. And for Gio, he faces the risk of being pulled out of the life he knew to confront a deeply painful truth, that everything he believed about his origins might be a lie crafted from the moment he was born. The complexity of the situation is further amplified as the DNA investigation loses its privacy. It's drawing attention from all directions. From Carly and Laura, who once warned Lulu not to stir the past, to Cody, who not only supports Lulu but has his own motivations tied to wounds of identity and family. Cody's involvement has taken the situation further than anyone anticipated. With experience in paternity testing and an instinct that rejects falsehoods, Cody pushes Lulu to continue digging, quietly collecting samples, verifying details, and cross-referencing data with past events. But what truly makes the story dangerous are the growing similarities, not just genetic, but behavioral, instinctual, even emotional, between Gio and Dante. The way Gio reacts, how he sees the world, his bursts of anger and moments of quiet, all echo a father he never knew. Skeptics are starting to feel unsettled. Something very clear, yet very painful, is emerging. And that clarity brings forth a haunting truth. Knowing the truth doesn't always heal, sometimes it reopens wounds that never truly healed. For Dante, if the test confirms Gio is his biological son, he must face more than the responsibility of being a father. He must confront the unanswerable. Why did Brooke Lynn hide this from him? Why was a part of him kept secret for over 20 years? And does he still have a chance to make things right for Gio, when the distance and the loss feel too great? As for Gio, the revelation may strike like a storm, shattering everything he thought was real. He'll have to redefine who he is, not just as a young man living in the elite Quartermaine family, but as the product of a forgotten young love and a secret buried like an old wound. The pain, the anger, the betrayal, all of it could explode at any moment. And if not guided carefully, it could drive him to serious missteps. Meanwhile, Lulu, caught at the heart of this storm, is beginning to feel a loss of control. What she thought would be a simple journey to bring the truth to light has become a prolonged nightmare. She faces the risk of hurting the man she still loves, Dante, and potentially destroying the life of a young man not ready to face the truth. With every step closer to the final proof, Lulu feels like she's entering territory with no return. All of this proves that Joe's story is no longer just a family secret. It has become a symbol of lingering obsession, of past mistakes, and of the consequences when truth is buried too long. What should have been a simple scientific act, a DNA test, has, in Port Charles's turbulent world, opened the gates to an emotional storm, where family ties, trust, and loyalty are tested to their limits. And once the results are revealed, there will be no going back. Mac is haunted by the feeling that he and Cody have made a grave mistake in their pursuit of Joe's truth. Choices that once seemed right are now unraveling into dangerous outcomes no one could have foreseen. Mac cannot deny that when he placed trust in Cody's and Lulu's instincts, he believed they were following the correct trail to uncover Joe's real identity. But recent events have spiraled beyond his control. The evidence, strange behaviors, and especially Lois's inexplicable reactions have forced Mac to confront a chilling possibility. He may have been wrong to let things unfold this way. Now, as he sees the potential consequences if action isn't taken in time, Mac feels he must intervene, must regain control before everything crosses a line he cannot undo. Mac's fear stems not just from secrets being exposed, but from failing to protect Cody from further emotional damage. He didn't know Cody was his son for so long, missed years they could have shared, and now, just as he has a chance to make things right, he must watch his son plunge into an emotional storm without a guide. Cody, diving deeper into the search for Joe's truth with Lulu, is beginning to realize something even more terrifying than the truth itself. Lois might be doing everything in her power to keep Joe's real identity hidden, and she's not being passive. Lois's recent actions are no longer just a worried mother's reactions. They're deliberate, calculated, even combative moves to manipulate information, distort reality, and steer Cody and Lulu away from the path they're on. Cody doesn't want to believe that Lois, a woman he once admired as a symbol of strength and honesty, could be the one working to obscure the truth about Gio. But he can't ignore the signs. Her suggestions that he let go, focus on the present, her attempts to distract Lulu from pursuing key leads, and her odd nervousness whenever DNA testing is mentioned, all point to Lois knowing more than she's admitting. What hurts Cody even more is the realization that he, someone who spent a lifetime confused about his own identity, is now being blocked from helping someone else escape the same torment. Lulu, with a mother's intuition and sensitivity shaped by her own losses, quickly picks up on the truth. She sees the gaps in Lois's story, the timeline inconsistencies, the overreactions to seemingly harmless questions. The deeper she digs, the more she realizes Lois isn't a side character, she's a formidable barrier. And unless they break through it, they may never find out the truth about Gio. Lulu doesn't want to hurt Lois, but she can't stand by and allow another mother to live a lie, or a child to grow up without knowing who they are. Mac watches it all in silence, but the obsession inside him grows. He knows he cannot let Cody and Lulu fight alone. He can't let the past repeat itself. He can't let another generation in Port Charles be consumed by secrets and lies. He must step in. He starts re-examining every step, reaching out to those who might know about Lois's past, probing into details he may have once overlooked. To save Cody from more pain, to help Gio find the truth, Mac knows he must confront Lois, not with judgment, but with the determination to break the cycle of deception. At the core of all this chaos lies an obsession that never died, that Port Charles is a place where the truth is always delayed, where people choose to hide instead of face reality, where secrets kept out of love become the spark for future rage. Now, as Mac, Cody, and Lulu edge closer to the heart of it all, they are not just seeking the truth about Gio, they are confronting a legacy of emotion, loyalty, and long-buried mistakes. No one knows what will happen when the truth comes out. But one thing is certain, this journey will change their lives forever. And Gio will no longer be the boy on the sidelines of a story, he will become the epicenter of a quake shaking every foundation in Port Charles. Lulu is living in a world where all the truths she once believed to be settled are now crumbling one by one. In an effort to support Cody in uncovering Joe's true origins, she also submitted a lock of Rocco's hair for a DNA test to compare with Joe's, hoping to clarify the blood relationship between Gio and Dante. It was a seemingly simple act, born of maternal instinct and a desire to protect the truth. But what no one, not even Lulu, could have foreseen was that the result of that test would ignite an unimaginable shock. Rocco is not her biological son. Nothing could have prepared Lulu for the moment she read the results. Every word on the page felt like a blade slicing through her mind, shattering every memory, every image of her years as a mother. A surreal numbness crept into her heart, making the world around her feel like it had fractured into irreparable pieces. She had given birth, raised Rocco from infancy, cradled him in her arms, comforted him through his fears, smiled at every first step, yet now, a cold piece of paper declared that everything she knew had been a lie. This new trauma not only upends Lulu's life but pulls the entire story into a vortex of chaos, dragging along a flood of doubts, pain, and spiraling confusion. Lulu begins to question everything. Every memory of her pregnancy, the birth at the hospital, the first time she laid eyes on Rocco, all of it is now veiled by a dark cloud of uncertainty. Was her baby switched at the hospital? Did someone deliberately give her another child? And if so, where is her real son? And who, then, is Rocco, the boy she has loved as if he were her own flesh and blood? These questions strike like lightning in a clear sky, leaving Lulu breathless with disbelief. The truth not only affects Lulu, but it also threatens to shatter her relationship with Dante. He has always believed Rocco was their child, a symbol of a love that had weathered many storms. Now, if Lulu is not Rocco's biological mother, it also suggests Dante may not be his biological father either. What once was a sacred bond of parenthood is now pierced by the ultimate doubt, that they may both have been deceived. While Cody remains focused on confirming whether Gio is the son of Dante and Brooke Lynn, Lulu's discovery forces a devastating new turn. Suddenly, their entire investigation becomes far more complex. The story no longer revolves around a hidden child, it has become a tangled web of lies where every assumed truth can be overturned by a single DNA test. And when Cody learns what happened with Rocco, he too is shaken. Once allies pursuing a single thread of truth, he and Lulu now stand before a new, harsher reality, a labyrinth far more twisted and merciless. Cody understands that Lulu's pain isn't just about losing the role of a mother, she's losing herself. She no longer knows who she is or what any of her lived experiences and sacrifices meant. The obsession consumes her like a shadow lost in her own life, afraid, hopeless. When Mac hears of the DNA result, he feels as though a part of the family's history has been torn from its foundation. He remembers the past baby-switching scandals of Port Charles, thought to be buried long ago, now resurrected like ghosts. He knows that if Lulu cannot find answers, she will never be the same. And if someone did switch her child, the biggest questions become, who did it, why, and what other secrets have been kept? Meanwhile, Lois, under suspicion for hiding Joe's true identity, begins acting more strangely. While Lulu and Cody are drowning in the horror of overturned identities, Lois becomes increasingly quiet, cautious, and sometimes overly defensive. This leads Lulu to a new question. Could the mysteries surrounding Gio and Rocco be connected? Is Joe's hidden identity part of a much larger conspiracy, one involving switched children and concealed truths, not due to error, but to serve an unknown purpose? The already complex story of Gio has now escalated dramatically, as Rocco's DNA test result reveals a new, conflicting, and devastating reality. A world where motherhood is no longer measured by memories or emotions, but by cold sequences of genes. A world where even the people who seem to love each other the most can become victims of lifelong deceit. And now, Lulu is no longer the one searching for truth on behalf of others, she has become the one in need of rescue. Before her own growing obsession drags her into a darkness from which she may never return. Camila's sudden arrival in Port Charles strikes like a silent storm, weaving its way through shadows of secrets and loyalties. Unannounced, she returns with a single goal, to protect Gio at all costs. But her presence doesn't bring relief as some might have hoped. Instead, she becomes the catalyst that causes the simmering conflict to explode. The already complicated situation reaches a boiling point as Camilla not only inserts herself into the chaos but directly confronts those seeking the truth, namely Cody and Lulu, who are on the verge of exposing Joe's real identity. With the fierce demeanor of a protective mother and calculating eyes, Camilla wastes no time denying everything Cody and Lulu have uncovered. She deploys every argument, every emotion, even tears, to disrupt their reality. She insists that she raised Gio, that everything they are doing is destroying the family she worked so hard to protect. But beneath her mask of sorrow and maternal love, Lulu and Cody sense something is off. Camilla's details about the past don't align. The timelines she offers don't make sense. Her reactions to specific questions only deepen the suspicion. Her presence escalates the danger to both Cody and Lulu. Camila is not acting alone. She may have allies, a plan, and the will to do anything to prevent them from reaching the truth. From emotional manipulation to suspicious behaviors like surveillance and interference, Cody and Lulu begin to realize they are no longer operating in a safe zone. Every move is watched, every conversation potentially overheard, and every decision carries risk. They are in a danger zone where the line between truth and retaliation grows increasingly blurred. Mac, recognizing that tensions are spiraling out of control, cannot sit back. The thought of losing Cody again, not just emotionally, but physically, leaves no room for hesitation. As a father who has already sacrificed much to salvage what's left of his family, Mac takes immediate action. He steps up security, gathers intel on Camila, and assigns people to track her movements in Port Charles. This is no longer a civilian investigation, it's a silent war to protect his son, who is now in far too deep in a storm no one knows how to contain. The central issue is no longer whether Gio is Dante's child, it's about who is working to ensure that truth is never revealed. Camila's strategy, whether driven by love or fear, is tightening around a fragile web of trust, where everyone walks a tightrope between honesty and survival. She's not only raising the stakes, she's forcing Mac to make hard choices, between protecting Cody and respecting legal boundaries. Between trust and truth and the willingness to use power to prevent disaster. Meanwhile, Cody and Lulu know time is running out. Every day that the truth remains hidden gives Camila more ground to solidify her position, manipulate emotions, and eliminate threats to the false identity she has crafted for Gio. They must act, but not recklessly. One wrong move could cost them everything: Joe's trust, Mac's support, even their chance to save a life trapped in a lie. The crisis in Port Charles is reaching its breaking point. A woman pretending to be a mother is guarding a truth that may not exist. A father stands torn between paternal love and a sense of justice. A son is caught between a past he never knew and a present built on deception. And two investigators are being hunted by forces they never expected to face. Every step toward truth now comes at a cost, of blood, of tears, and of sacrifice. There's no room for error. And in the growing darkness of this calculated deception, they all understand one thing: when the flames finally ignite, no one will emerge unscathed. Cody and Lulu are delving deeper into a truth-seeking journey that they knew from the start would be dangerous. But neither of them, nor anyone else, could have foreseen just how brutal it would become. After facing the fierce arrival of Camila, they now find themselves struck by another unexpected blow, this time from those they never imagined would become adversaries, Brooke and Dante. Once seen as allies and central figures in the unraveling of Joe's truth, Brooke and Dante are now pushing back, actively creating a tragic rift within an already fractured family. What makes this conflict even more unpredictable is that it's not just emotional, it's a calculated act of destruction, a defensive response born of fear, pain, and secrets they would rather bury forever than see exposed. Brooke is no longer the cheerful, rational, and gentle woman others once trusted. She has transformed into a fiercely defensive warrior, willing to use any means necessary to protect what she perceives as a vital order. Brooke cannot accept the possibility that Cody and Lulu might expose the truth about Gio, a truth that could unravel the very foundation she's spent years building. In her eyes, if Gio really is her and Dante's biological son, it would mean all her years of silence would be unearthed. Every choice she once believed was for the child's good would now stand as evidence of betrayal, deception, and abandonment. She can't face that. She can't bear the judgmental stares, especially from Gio, who might come to believe his mother abandoned him. So instead of opening up, Brooke chooses to fight. She publicly criticizes Lulu, speaks out during family meetings, leaks misleading information, and begins to turn those who once supported Cody and Lulu against them. She accuses them of acting on personal motives, saying Lulu is trying to win Dante back by driving a wedge between him and Brooke, and that Cody is chasing fame by fabricating a false narrative. Brooke doesn't just use words, she begins building a covert media front, leveraging her connections to blur the real story. She stirs up public outrage around Gio, making it nearly impossible for anyone to get close to him. Worse, she subtly plants seeds of doubt in Joe's mind about Cody and Lulu, the only two truly trying to save him from a web of lies. Dante, on the other hand, fights differently. He doesn't lash out with anger like Brooke does, but with silence and distance. He neither confirms nor denies. He simply steps back, offering no support, making no interventions, leaving Lulu and Cody isolated in the storm. But this withdrawal is a cruelty in itself. Lulu sees clearly the fear in Dante's eyes, the fear that if the truth comes out, he'll be forced to face consequences for things he never knew. If Gio is truly his son, then it means he unknowingly abandoned him, and that his life with Rocco has been built on a false premise of fatherhood. Dante isn't sure he's strong enough to handle that. So instead of facing it, he leaves Cody and Lulu to bear the full weight of the truth. Now, Cody and Lulu are being pushed into a new and dangerous zone, no longer just an investigation, but a psychological, emotional, an existential battle for survival. They are not merely confronting Camila or Lois, but an entire belief system warped to conceal the truth. Brooke's resistance and Dante's indifference create a dual pressure that casts all of Cody and Lulu's efforts in a suspicious, even hostile, light. Old relationships are cracking. Former friends are turning their backs. And Gio, at the center of it all, is now wrapped in yet another layer of protection. Pulled even further away from the only two people willing to go to the ends of the earth to save him from a life of deceit. Mac cannot stay silent, watching Cody and Lulu being isolated. He knows this is no longer just a conflict between individuals, it's a repetition of a brutal cycle he once lived through. He spent years not knowing Cody was his son, and now, having reclaimed that bond, he refuses to let the world turn on his son again in a battle for justice. He begins quietly gathering data, looking for inconsistencies in Brooke's statements, monitoring Dante's responses, and preparing for the worst-case scenario, to protect Cody and Lulu not just with words, but with authority, with strategy, and with everything a father is willing to do to save his child from the oblivion of a buried truth. Meanwhile, Port Charles is no longer a stage for ordinary drama. It has become an emotional battlefield where truth is not seen as liberation, but as a threat. Joe's story is no longer just about a boy with a stolen identity. It's about a community so afraid of the truth that it would rather destroy those seeking it than let it come to light. Cody and Lulu, despite being isolated, despite being attacked by those they once loved, must keep going. Because if they stop, Gio will remain trapped in the shadows of a lie disguised as love, and to them, that is a fate more terrifying than any disaster they face now.